You're listening to the Geek Watch Podcast, Episode 6, with your host, Brian J. Hatcher and Tony Slack. Hello, Geek Watchers, and welcome to Episode 6 of the Geek Watch Podcast. My name is Brian J. Hatcher, and with me, as always, the man who's the answer to the age-old question, what looks good on your mom? It's Tony Slack.
I like that.
There you go. All right, so I think what we can start out with is, last podcast you challenged me.
Yes.
To watch two movies back to back.
Yeah, I wanted to see which one would be better without me going to see them myself.
Yep. Which, and I foolishly accepted that challenge, and so let us start out with this week's Battle of the Bads. And in the red corner, at a combined budget of $175, the movie $175 million.
That's a little bit more.
Yeah, $175 million. The movie that Tom Cruise wanted to name Monster Impossible. It's The Mummy. And in the blue corner, at a combined budget of $217 million. Fifth time outer, the movie starring Marky Mark and the CG Bunch. No. It's Transformers: The Last Knight.
There we go.
So, and what did I think? Well, I watched The Mummy first.
Okay.
And then and then I watched Transformers. I actually had to go to two theaters to do that.
Oh, you couldn't do it at the same time?
I could have if I wanted to wait an hour and a half, and I just wanted it to be over with.
You didn't want to digest it in between?
No, good Lord, no.
It seems like Transformers would have probably been the better one to go with first in my book, but that's just my opinion.
Well, the way my schedule set up, we did wind up starting out with The Mummy. So Let me tell you what my opinions as far as The Mummy. I didn't really go in with a whole lot of expectations really for either movie, because when I went to see them, the Rotten Tomatoes rating for both of them was right at 15%. I think
solid.
Yeah, 15 at both of them.
Yeah.
I think they're still at 15. I didn't check that today, but I would think at this point that they're pretty much where they're going to be.
Does that mean it was a 30% as a double feature?
30? No.
It don't work that way, does it?
No. Well, I will say, we'll start with The Mummy, which was the movie that I went to see first.
Uh-huh.
I mean, with both of these films rating so low and everything that I heard about it, I didn't expect a great deal. I went in with pretty low expectations, which I think for both of those movies is a good plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I'm a big fan of B movies, so some big B movie goodness isn't going to bother me. I do feel that Mummy, although it's not going to be an Oscar winner by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think it necessarily deserved the 15% that it got.
Yeah.
It was, but it was definitely a movie that, and I think one way that I put this to someone was there's a difference between a Tom Cruise action film and an action film with Tom Cruise in it. Yeah. And this movie was an action film with Tom Cruise in it.
He just happened to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a very, like I said, if you're looking for some B movie schlock, it's definitely
okay.
It has that. It's a movie that wasn't exactly sure what tone it wanted to be. I think it's not just this movie. I think this is something that's been going through Hollywood for a lot. Is that Hollywood seems to be really scared of serious moments.
Okay.
Tense moments. They always want to take a joke and just deflate it. And there were times in this movie where I thought it didn't know if it wanted to be a B movie of the tradition of Universal films, if it wanted to be Evil Dead, because there's some of those moments in there also, with a lot of the kind of physicality. And when you think physicality and jokes in horror movies, of course you're going to think Evil Dead. Yeah. And so there's certainly a lot of that in there also, but like I said, I didn't hate it as much as maybe a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes would have. It's like I said, the tone is really uneven.
Tom Cruise, did he try doing like the Brendan Fraser type of action hero, or did he have his own thing going?
No, I tell you what. Do we want to make this spoiler free, or do we want to go ahead and say spoilers on this one?
Just say spoilers on
Yeah,
this
let's
one,
do
because
some-
I haven't seen The Mummy and I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is the way the movie ends is that, I mean, with this dark universe, you want to have basically what they're wanting to set up, obviously,
Yeah.
from seeing this film, is you have monsters as heroes. In
Yeah,
other
you
words,
have
the monster.
Dracula and
Yeah,
Frankenstein's
but
monster.
they're supposed to be the heroes. So, I mean, obviously, you see the trailers. It doesn't look like the Mummy is going to be a hero or an anti-hero at all, because
No.
she's obviously a villain, right?
Yeah, she's evil.
Exactly, she's evil. So she's not up for the task. But guess who is?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Oh,
So
man.
what happens is, the whole plot of this film is she's trying to make him the embodiment of Set. Okay.
Okay.
So because of a kind of convoluted situation where the female lead dies in the film,
Oh.
where she dies and he wants to bring her back to life, he basically does the Mummy's work for her. Instead of her stabbing him and him dying and him being he basically kills himself
Oh.
with his ceremonial dagger,
Okay.
becomes this embodiment of Set, and then stabs, and then kills the other mummy, and he becomes the new mummy,
Okay.
basically. So he's a monster who fights monsters now. He's a monster, but he's a human being.
So he's still Tom Cruise's character
He's
from the movie, but now with the powers of the Mummy.
with the powers of the mummy, and
Okay.
basically, so which makes him unique because there are no other characters like Jekyll and Hyde or the
Yeah.
Wolfman or any other of the characters that are like half human, half monster.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic,
A little bit.
obviously.
A little bit.
Obviously,
I
I'm
was
being.
wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, because they're all pretty much like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but now he's the mummy anti-hero. So that's kind of how they wound up ending it.
Okay.
Like I said, it's B movie schlock, and if you like B movie schlock, you'll like this film. It's like I said, it's not pulling any Oscars.
Did it feel like it was the flagship of what's to come? I mean,
No.
yeah.
No,
I
it just
don't get that feel just from the trailer.
no. It's not. It does set up a bunch of stuff. You see Jekyll, and of course you see Hyde,
Oh, yeah.
which Russell Crowe is a great actor,
Yeah.
but I've also seen Hyde done a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
Heck, if you just check out Jekyll, the BBC miniseries,
Uh-huh.
an amazing
Okay.
take on that character.
Yeah. That's just a shame that if it wasn't as big as it was supposed to be, because
Well, obviously it didn't make. It's not going to lose money, I guess, because of the foreign market. Foreign markets are saving a lot of.
but it's not going to change the way they make movies either. Like,
I would, in a sense, I hope that it does.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah, for
pray
the better.
for the better. They go, don't do that anymore.
kind of like Man of Steel versus Justice League.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
pray. Don't do it that way anymore.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then, hopefully, one day that'll change.
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
this will develop into something.
Okay.
But I will say that this movie was Shakespeare when it came to Transformers.
Okay. Yeah. I had
that-
a feeling there.
Yeah, that one. Well, to kind of give you guys some context on this, this was the first of the Transformers movies I'd ever seen. I hadn't seen any of them before this one. This was my introduction.
And that's really sad because I think, as hard as it is to believe for me, the first one I guess would have to be the best. And the CGI was horrible in the first one.
Yeah.
The fighting sequences, they really cleared those up in the second and third movies, I guess. But anytime the Transformers were on screen, it was like you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know who was fighting, who was hidden. You were
Yeah.
it was just confusing. And for you to step in,
Yeah, well, one thing definitely is I felt like I was coming into the middle of a movie. I was right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it felt like I had walked in the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
And there were characters there that maybe if I'd seen the older movies would have meant something.
Reoccurring characters.
Yeah, and some cameo appearances for
Yeah.
characters that that didn't explain who they were. I had no idea who they were, why they were even involved, why they wanted to be involved. I didn't, just no idea whatsoever. And I just, again, it was just like it didn't make an awful lot of sense. I think I just assumed that there was that there was a meaning there that maybe there, in some cases, wasn't. One thing that I talked to that got into a conversation with is there was a scene in the movie where Bumblebee kind of got torn apart and he just flew back together.
Yeah, that doesn't normally happen.
Well, I assumed that it did because I thought, well, I guess Transformers can do that, but apparently Bumblebee being able to do that was just like completely out of the blue and
No
it made
explanation.
no explanation.
Yeah, in the last movie, I'm pretty sure Bumblebee got his arm ripped off, and they used a tow truck to drag him around as he shot with his other arm. So
Yeah,
if
well,
he can slap himself back together after getting.
I guess he learned. Here's besides the fact that this movie was all over the place,
Yeah.
and I didn't think there would possibly be a way you could take Sir Anthony Hopkins and make him a terrible actor. But oh my God, did they?
They did?
He's terrible in this movie.
That's sad.
And mainly because he's spending an awful lot of time he's either just calm or he's raging. It's just like that's it.
There's no happy medium.
There's no happy medium whatsoever. And it's like I never thought I would see him act poorly in a film. Struggle in a film because I think in a real sense, and I obviously, Sir Anthony Hopkins, an amazing actor.
Yeah, and he should be able to just put it on cruise control, you would think.
But you can't expect Usain Bolt to run a marathon with a Buick strapped to his back.
Yeah.
And this
movie was the Buick.
This movie was it was the Buick.
Yeah.
It was the 19.
So this movie didn't even start with like previously, like to let you know what's going on.
They just assumed you'd seen the other movies, and
Yeah,
I think,
so that's
which I
kinda
think
arrogant.
is well, I think in a sense it's like, look, guys, nobody's going to be watching this movie unless they've seen the other ones.
Yeah. True.
But again,
I'll talk to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's like you kind of ruined my life there, but seeing Sir Anthony Hopkins really struggle in this film was bad.
Yeah.
What was also difficult was they had two. And we'll go ahead and we'll go back into spoilers again, but we had two MacGuffins in this film. We had this living metal medallion that Marky Mark's character had. I forget what his name is, but he had this thing that came into play for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was just basically to block a sword shot. It turned into a sword, and he blocked a robot sword shot.
Then what happened?
Then it didn't matter anymore.
Just a one-time use.
Yeah, just one time. Optimus Prime was getting the crap kicked out of him, and one of the night Transformers was going to deliver this killing blow, and Marky Mark stopped it.
I don't know how you call him Marky Mark.
I'm just going to call him Mark. He's Marky Mark to me, man. So he blocks it with a sword. I don't know why having a living metal sword allows you to block a Transformer's blow. I don't know if it makes you extra powerful. It apparently did in his case. He could just block a sword shot. But then it never came up again. It never mattered.
I'd like to say that was a moment that was worked up from the previous movies, but I'd be lying.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. And then the second MacGuffin of the film was this staff. Mm-hmm. This power staff that the Night Transformers gave to Merlin.
Okay, Merlin from King Arthur.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so Merlin was sort of a drunkard, but he got this staff, which allowed him to summon all the knights. The knights could form when the knights got together, they formed a King Ghidorah, three-headed dragon.
Yeah.
That shot fire.
Okay.
And so the staff, gave you powers, but it was tied into Merlin's DNA.
Okay. Oh.
So only Merlin could use it, or one of Merlin's descendants, which, thank goodness, the female lead of the movie
just happens to be
a direct descendant of Merlin, thank goodness.
How did I guess that?
So the staff they were using to allow Cybertron to drain power from the Earth. Mm-hmm. Which it turns out that the Earth is Omicron. Okay. If you saw the Transformers movie, the animated film, the Earth just happens to be Omicron. I don't know why. Yeah. It just happens.
Turns out that way.
It just turns out that way.
It's convenient.
And also as a nod to the old Transformers movie cartoon movie, Hot Rod is in it.
Oh, really?
For a little while with a French accent.
Does he die?
He doesn't die,
That's surprising.
but he does have a French accent for no apparent reason.
It's all right. We've had one with a Chinese accent.
Yeah. So there you go. But so what happens is, so now we have this character that is able to use the staff, and the staff is basically what Quintessa.
Mhm.
I forget what the villain, the female villain, the female Transformer villain with the squid bottom.
Yeah.
Sort of like a skinny robot version of the Sea Witch and the Little Mermaid.
Okay, I got you.
You know, so they're using the staff, and basically our female lead, she pulls the staff out of the hole to stop the. It's like, okay, but she's able to pick up the staff because she's. I mean, it's like I'm still trying to figure out why. It's like anybody could have grabbed the staff and ran off with it. That's what she did. She just grabbed the staff and she didn't use it for anything.
So it wasn't like a sword in the stone moment. Like it didn't show other people try to get it.
No, and maybe that's what they intended, that you couldn't take it off out of the little hole in the floor. But
they should have set that up to let you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, which they didn't bother.
Yeah.
Anybody, but again, it's like she didn't use it for anything. She just kind of took it.
Oh.
So, and I think the only thing was the staff looked like a wooden staff until she touched it, and then you could see what it was.
Oh.
Now, here's the problem with that. If she hadn't touched the staff, nobody would have found the staff.
Yeah, nobody would have wanted it.
Nobody would have wanted it. Quintessa didn't even know where the staff was until she touched it. So, so basically, all she did was make the situation worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's why they needed to set it up, so that they're like, why did she just make this situation worse?
Yeah.
Because she was the. So okay, well, I'll accept it to that aspect. Okay, she made the situation worse. That's why you had this whole setup. But I didn't really care about anybody. I didn't care about the Transformers. I didn't care about the characters.
I didn't care about the fourth movie. I mean, I was kind of done. That's why I haven't seen the fifth one, and why I wanted to see if you were.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing too. Is that of course I grew up Transformers and all that, and then of course we have the voice of Optimus Prime, and there's a scene. Oh, two things that bothered me.
Okay.
Well, there's a bunch of things that bothered me. I mean, I could say the reason why he turns into Nemesis Prime and wants to destroy the Earth.
You could probably make a top 100 reasons to hate this movie if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's definitely in there.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's fighting Bumblebee because he's Nemesis Prime.
Yeah.
Then Bumblebee. And they do kind of set up the fact that Bumblebee has to use the radio to talk. He doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
And they tried to put a voice box in him, and it didn't work. And,
in this movie?
In this movie.
Okay, we'll see.
So, and that didn't work. And then while they're fighting, Bumblebee suddenly talks.
Okay.
He says, "I'm your friend, and I would give my life for you."
So is this one of those the power of love moments?
Dude, they stole a scene out of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It's the Martha scene.
Oh, without Martha's name, actually.
Yeah, it's just he talks, and then suddenly they stop fighting. So they basically stole that Batman v Superman scene, that well-beloved, impassioned scene.
Beautiful scene.
That beautiful, tear-jerking scene. Yeah. They stole it so that for Transformers. And then...
They were besties?
Oh, and they were best friends again.
Sweet.
They were best friends again.
Matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And so they did.
Tears of oil.
Yeah, for me definitely.
Yeah.
But and then Optimus Prime, when the Autobots are together and they're getting ready to attack Cybertron and save the Earth, he delivers a speech. Meant to be an inspirational speech, a William Wallace type of speech.
Okay.
And after he delivered it, I mean, and even after he delivers it, one of the Transformers says, "Oh, I always get goosebumps when he talks." Okay. They wanted to indicate just how powerful this speech was.
Yeah.
Hearing the speech made me do something I've literally never done before.
Vomit in the theater?
No, I literally rolled my eyes at it. I've never rolled my eyes at anything, and I absolutely, literally rolled my eyes at this cheesy, goofy freaking speech.
Oh, wow.
It was it was horrible.
This wasn't the president from
No. This was our Independence Day. No, this was terrible. It was terrible. But I mean, this whole movie was terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. I mean, like I said, The Mummy wasn't great,
No.
but it was Shakespeare compared to this. This
Yeah.
movie, it was a wreck. So, I have to say that in this Battle of the Bads, the winner, far and beyond, has to be Transformers. It's definitely the bad film of this one.
Okay, the bad film.
And
Okay.
yeah, it's the winner of the Battle of the Bads. It was the worst. In fact, where I thought, that The Mummy didn't deserve their 15.
Yeah.
I don't think that Transformers deserves their 15 either.
Yeah.
I think that maybe The Mummy gave some of their points to the Transformers movie,
Oh, man.
because Transformers should have been way lower than a 15.
Wow.
I
So-
mean, I would even for somebody who hadn't gone to Rotten Tomatoes and looked at the reviews that have been considered fresh. I bet they're not glowing
Yeah,
reviews.
I wouldn't think so.
I think that they're just they're just barely
Yeah.
you could consider a positive review.
So in The Mummy, does Tom Cruise ride a motorcycle?
Let me think. Does he
He
ride a
always rides a motorcycle, dude.
I don't think he did in this one.
See, that's probably why I got a 15% then.
Yeah, because he
Tom
didn't. He
Cruise on a
didn't.
motorcycle, man. That
Yeah.
gives you at least 12 points.
Yeah, if he
Percentage
did,
points.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he
That's
did or
not
not.
good.
Yeah,
You always remember Tom Cruise.
you
on a
should remember.
motorcycle.
Well, you should. You definitely
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
So there's it for the Battle of the Bads. Now we haven't one movie, not movie, but a TV show I haven't gotten into yet. But you've already started as Preacher. So
yeah, season 2.
so there were like two episodes back to back, right?
Yeah, there was 2 episodes back to back last week, and then episode 3 was actually last night.
Last
I
night,
haven't
which
watched it yet.
yeah, and I haven't got a chance to watch any of them yet. But
Oh, you haven't watched season 1 either.
I've seen season 1. I've
Season
seen.
one, okay,
Oh,
excellent.
I've definitely seen season 1.
Okay, I thought you had.
Oh yeah, I've seen season 1. Season 2, I haven't got a chance to start yet.
All I can tell you about season 2 is it's got to be the most absolute ultra-violent television ever put on television.
Oh yeah,
If you've seen season 1 and you know Cassidy's opening scene on the airplane,
right.
when he just annihilates everyone on the plane and then it crashes and he eats a cow, well, that's Disney fodder compared to, especially the first episode. The second episode holds nothing back either. I mean, there is more death in these 2 movies combined than there is in all of Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal, but man, Jesse and Tulip and Cassidy, man, they're the team. This is an awesome show. Saint of Killers is there now.
Oh yeah.
And this guy is just rip your tongue out of your mouth. Disgusting. I mean, he's horrible, and I think they're really pushing the limits because you look at like The Walking Dead and the violence they show. For the most part, other than the Negan scene that everybody knows about, it's walker deaths.
Yeah.
This is just straight up humans getting slaughtered and murdered like sheep.
Oh.
And it is brutal.
Oh.
But
well, it'll be interesting to see how that compares with American Gods, which is also can be a really brutal and really kind of a mind mess.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really
it,
does. It does kind of mess with you.
and what I like about Preacher though is the fact that I can sit and tell you how absolutely horrific the violence is.
Oh yeah.
What a great TV show it is. I mean, you almost, for me, I can look over the violence and not even pay attention to it if you've got a good story going along.
Yeah.
And that's what this show's doing is they're giving you a great story that just happens to be horribly violent.
Well, there you go. There it is. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now I've got some free space to catch it now because, of course, last weekend was the season finale of Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
So we got the end of the 2-parter. Now we're not going to have any more Doctor Who. They've set up the Christmas episode, but of course that's for Christmas. So we got several months ahead of that.
Yeah.
And it made me kind of think about this because I've been seeing some reviews back and forth about the season finale.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, because people ask me, well, was it good? And I'm starting to wonder if I'm really qualified to say whether it's good or not. Now, I can say I enjoyed it a great deal because I did, but this is a fandom that I've been in for like 35 years now.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of Doctor Who. And especially in the season finale, there was a great deal of fan service involved.
Okay.
I mean, lots of it. And I don't really want to get too much into it because there may be some people who haven't seen it yet, and this is definitely some stuff that you want to see it on your own.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, and I'm not exactly sure yet, I don't know if I enjoyed it because of all the fan service, and if somebody, again, this is maybe like in Transformers, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on, you don't know what it is unless you're... And, I mean, obviously, especially with the cliffhanger, what they set up the series, if you don't know the show at all, I don't think there's really any impact to it. I mean, for me, it's like, oh my God, they're going there. I can't believe they're going there.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the show and the history of the show, you're not going to know what that is.
Okay.
And I'm thinking maybe, for me, maybe my fanhood, my fandom for this show is I'm basically seeing the show through those goggles. And maybe, but at the same time, I think it's just something we all of us as geeks go through, that, we fall in love with something,
Yeah.
We tend to, we see it through the spectacles, through the rose-colored glasses of our geekhood.
Yeah, you've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, you've been there since the
yeah.
beginning, and you love it. And so even if where it may fail a little bit, you're going to be willing to forgive it.
Okay.
So, fan service works for the fans, but it very seldom works for people outside of fandom.
Yeah.
But we love it, and so it's really been, for me, I think it's just been sort of a, just kind of, and I think it's something I'm still thinking about.
Okay.
I don't know if, was it a good episode just as its own, or do you have to have that background in
know
the
the
fandom
history.
to know the history of it to really enjoy it? I'm not sure, so I had to leave it at that. But
Okay.
if you're a Doctor Who fan, definitely, if you haven't seen it by now, you're definitely worth checking
What's your
out.
problem, right?
Yeah, what's your problem? What are you doing? What you doing? And definitely, it's set up for me one of the most interesting setups for an episode of Doctor Who. And
Okay.
we, and there was even, they've had setups where Santa Claus showed up.
Yeah.
For a Christmas episode.
Okay.
So, this for me is, with Christmas, you get an awful lot of fan service. That's kind of the purpose of the Christmas episode.
Has Krampus been in there before?
Krampus has not
Krampus?
been. Yeah, Krampus has not been in
Krampus,
there
Krampus.
yet. They haven't done that yet.
So they haven't got to Krampus yet.
They haven't got to Krampus
Okay,
yet, but they
okay.
did have, last Christmas episode was a superhero tale.
Okay.
You had an actual superhero.
Okay. Cool.
So, it'll be interesting. Obviously, this is going to be Peter Capaldi's last episode,
Yeah.
the Christmas episode, and it'll be. There's a hint of a lot of things they're going to tie up and
Okay.
finish in this Christmas episode,
Okay.
which I'm going to be interested to see how they do.
Okay.
So, great fan service if you're into that.
Okay.
So,
I'll trust you.
yep. So there you go. We got that.
Yeah.
And what did you? We got a little bit of show and tell today, don't we?
Yeah. For the Walking Dead fans,
Oh yeah.
might
Check
have
it-
a few of them out there. Got this today at Walgreens, people.
I'll check
That's
this
right.
out.
Look at that's Sasha.
Oh, check that out.
Yeah, it's a Walgreens exclusive, Brian.
A Walgreens.
A Walgreens exclusive. Pretty sweet. Looks just like Sasha too. I get it in there where people can see it a little bit, but yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the only place you go get that is Walgreens. Walgreens should be paying me. for saying this. But yeah, that pretty cool. I collect all things Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things I picked up here recently, I got it from ClarkToys.com. There he goes, the man himself, Negan.
Oh,
Very, very cool likeness there. Jeffrey
Oh, yeah,
Dean
definitely.
Morgan. Very cool. Comes with Lucille. So you can
So-
reenact your favorite scene of Walker Sasha jumping on top of poor Negan and almost eating his face
So-
off.
well, here's the question. So we don't get a whole bunch of nerd rage.
Yeah.
Are you taking those out of the package?
Nope.
You're not taking. There you go. Okay, everybody, calm down. Don't send emails. Don't send letters or anything about you don't take them out of the package.
Well, the thing is now Sasha may end up coming out of the package. I've got a whole. You've seen my curio cabinet,
Right.
Just full of action figures, just displayed in all their scenes, and pretty much every Walking Dead figure that's come out is set up in this scene. Maybe I'll shoot a photo of that on here sometime. Yeah, I'm very tempted to take Sasha out of the package, but I may wait a few days, let it simmer. See if I can calm down and not do it. So we'll
Talk
see.
yourself off the ledge.
I might be able to talk myself off the ledge. Who knows?
Well, maybe you'll go to a Walker Stock or some other convention and run into her, and maybe Jeffrey Dean Morgan get those
Yeah,
get those
absolutely.
signed.
That's the only reason I would keep him in the package. I've probably got 24 autographs from just various characters, actors from the show. So who knows?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are definitely cool looking.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So we got Spider-Man this weekend.
Yeah, we do. Coming up, Thursday night? Be able to go see it, I guess.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday at 7?
What I'm probably going to wind up doing is there's a private showing at Saturday around 9 a.m.
Oh wow.
that I'm going to be going to. I'm
Wow.
probably going to wait and see it then. But I am definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of good reviews.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, of course, is my favorite
Yeah.
Marvel character. He was my favorite hero growing up as a kid. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. I think this may be the time when they may be able to get Spider-Man exactly right, which is.
As excited as I am for Spider-Man, I'm more excited for Michael Keaton being in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite all-time superhero movie actors, and seeing him take on a villain like Vulture and the way it looks like he's going to be doing it.
Yeah, and they're going to make him
pretty sweet.
Yeah, and they're going to make Vulture a real badass in this film.
It seems like he's despicable too. I mean, he makes some threats just in the trailer that are pretty horrific.
Well, here's the thing too, and why Vulture may become one of the top tier Marvel Cinematic Universe characters is because one thing that I've heard in a lot of the reviews is that although he's the villain, you know why he's doing what he does.
Yep.
It's like they don't say necessarily you sympathize with him, but they're like, yeah, you get him.
Yeah, you know.
It's very much like it's very much like Fisk in the Daredevil series.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's a villain, but you get him.
Yeah.
You get what's going on with
some
him.
character development there.
Yeah, definitely. And they say that this is the same thing here, which is awesome.
Yeah, because you don't want to hate Michael Keaton. I mean, I don't. I mean,
well,
we might hate him.
Well, he's going after Spider-Man, so I got to hate him a little.
Oh, okay.
You got to hate him a little bit.
Well, you can hate him more than I do.
Oh,
Okay?
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll hold the hate for him. So,
there you go.
So, do you got anything on the docket you want to talk about also, or?
I know. I think it's pretty much it. We did see this past week that apparently Carnage is going to be the villain in the Venom movie. That's coming up. No one's been cast yet.
No, nobody's been cast for it yet. But what's interesting, of course, is there's been some backtracking on the whole. Is the Venom movie going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, we've talked about this before about they're going to have to come back on that on that comment, and they did.
Yeah,
they wound up doing it.
They did what they had to do.
So not saying that I have a problem with them being part of the cinematic universe, but of course, do it the right way.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Spider-Man, and I mean, we're getting, because the summer has been pretty lackluster at this point. Wonder Woman's still kicking away.
Yeah, top notch.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, domestically, it's made more money than Batman v Superman did.
Yeah.
Right, about ready to catch up with them total.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, she had Wonder Woman. That movie was not quite $100 million less in a budget, but close to that. So definitely making the money there.
Oh yeah.
So, and apparently, she's. I mean, with at this point and still being number 4 in the theaters, that's impressive.
Oh yeah.
Because
no
I mean,
it's the summertime.
Yeah, in the summer, in the summer season, to be able to hold on and still making really good money, when the other DC movies basically just plummeted.
Oh yeah, they had their week to shine, and then they just kind of
they just tanked. But again, no pun intended, but Wonder Woman has legs.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So this could be, this is going to be very good for this film, and I think, already we're starting to see where things are changing in the DC cinematic universe because of this film, which is to me awesome.
Oh yeah,
so
no doubt.
So that'll be it for this week, and maybe next week we'll be able to talk more about Spider-Man and what we thought about it. Yep. And if we can get caught up on Preacher, we can definitely talk about that also.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So until next week, for Tony Slack, this is Brian J. Hatcher saying, keep it geeky, my friends.
Hey guys.